Okay, hello everybody, Alan Denman and Aisha Walker here.
And Lucy.
Also with Lucy. Lucy has sort of tripled in size and she's now 6 months old. We built a cat flap so she goes in and out, and she's turning into a lovely pusscat, and very fast, and very
feisty.
Nimble.
She wants down, I think.
Yeah, she's fussy.
So, little camera shy.
Okay. So here we are. We're moored somewhere in West London. As you all know, we're constant cruisers, and this is day 2 of lockdown number 2. And so this is what we're going to be talking about today, really, what this means to us as well as to other people. So I think the theme of today really is around lockdown is community and connection. So do you want to say something about this? What does lockdown 2 mean to you?
Yes, as a boater, I have to say, in the springtime when we first experienced this, it wasn't so bad. I'm even going to go as far to say those of us living on boats, if anything, had a slightly more pleasant time. Certainly if you were stuck in a flat isolating on your own that maybe didn't have any outside space. We were so blessed that we've got our boat. We could sit on the roof, on the bow or the stern. I think it's going to be a lot different. Now we're in the winter period. Already we're spending much more like, 80-90% of our time on the boat. There's no sitting outside. So you can be pretty isolated as a boater. I think one of the ways we as boaters connect with each other to sort of balance that more isolated lifestyle that you might have as somebody who's a constant cruiser is to be outside and doing things, going for a picnic, going to your local cinema, taking a wander down to the local shops where you are, hanging out with other people. And obviously all of that is not going to be possible in this time's winter lockdown. So yes, I'm not feeling so great about lockdown the second time round. Not that I was feeling great about it the first time round, but I think it is going to be harder. I think we are going to feel a little more isolated.
Well, Canal and River Trust told boaters to just stay put. So the first time round,
They haven't told us yet.
We're not quite sure what their position is this time round. So over the last lockdown, we were up in Perivale with lots of other boaters, and of course there was a natural community because we all got to know each other, and some were performance artists and singers and people like that. It was really...
You could wave to each other across the boats.
Yeah, it was really nice. So this is different, and this does worry me, the second lockdown and the effect it has not just on us. I would say it's probably more extreme for us as constant cruisers. We are on the move every few weeks. And, hang on, Lucy's come back now. Here she is. Okay, she doesn't like to be restrained.
Or ignored.
Oh, a
boo-boo.
And she's eating vast amounts of food at the moment, but running around and
now you've lost your train of
I
thought.
completely lost it, yes.
It was terribly profound.
Anyway, well, cats are far more interesting, but no, seriously, it does really worry me, the long-term impact, especially if you are by nature an introspective person, or you're an old person, you live alone. Where's your social contact going to be? And I was standing by a bus stop a few weeks ago, and I looked down, and it's just actually printed on the pavement, keep apart. And this is what's being sort of drilled into us. And I know there are good reasons for that, but the effect of lockdown means social isolation, social disconnection, and we are by nature social beings. We like to get together, we like to have parties, we like to gather, we like, to be with our friends and family. Very important for us. We're emotional beings, and we like to connect. So I think this is a hard time for people emotionally and psychologically.
Yes.
And we're very lucky to have each other most of the time anyway. No, we are very lucky to have each other. I'm just kidding around there. But you know, it is really quite stressful. And then you take into account, you know, the financial and business impact of the lockdown as well, and how many people are losing their jobs or being furloughed with no guarantee of a job at the end of it. So these are very dark times, I think, and it's quite hard for us. So what can we say that's good? What would you say?
I would say, what can we do?
Okay. Yes. What can we do about this?
I think we are, as well as sociable creatures, we are creative. And we are needing now, I would say, to reinvent our lives and the world and the way that we function within the world, and get creative about how we can maintain community and be a support to each other. And that's going to be different for different people. I guess for us boaters, you know, to really be there for other people living on the water, to wave, to say hello, to do Zoom calls and chats and phone somebody up and stay in touch. And I guess all of that for sure applies to those of us who are especially living on their own. So yeah, I would say just think of each other and stay in touch with everybody, and call somebody every day, and be mindful of those who are truly isolated, and where you can be of help and service, and where you can provide some kind of human connection, even if it isn't a physical connection. That's so important.
Thank goodness for Zoom.
Indeed, yes.
And Skype and FaceTime and those apps, you know, because that really does still help us to remain in contact with each other. Yeah. But the best contact of all is when you're in the same physical space as somebody else. That's when we feel things more strongly. Yes. So I think it's important that we find some enjoyment somewhere in all this. One of the things that we do, we're both very creative, and that does lift us to be doing something creative. We're at the moment writing a novel, which will turn into an audio-visual film. Tell you more about that another time. I've written a book called Barging Free. I'm going to read some of the chapters of this as well. So this is about, the book is called Barging Free, 1 year on a narrowboat. And this is all about our first year on a narrowboat. And for anybody thinking of buying a narrowboat, I would really recommend you reading this. It's not published yet.
Might put you off.
It was hilarious.
In a dark kind of way.
And tragic and horrible. And oh my God, is this what they really went through? And we did.
Or is this how stupid they were? Gosh,
well, that too. Nothing. Yes. You know. Well, I'll just tell you a little story now, just to end up with, and that is that we realised that the only way we could own our home and live in London was to actually live on a narrowboat. So we started looking, and then we were doing research and and we met this guy on a wide beam just outside Windsor on the River Thames there. And he had his engine up and down there doing something else. And we thought, well, we'll go and have a chat to him. And we said, well, what advice can you give us about buying a boat? He said, you'll learn everything you need to in the first month. And I thought, well, this is great. Not that much to learn. This is easy peasy. That's not exactly what he meant. What he really meant was, if you can survive the first month, there may be some hope. And a number of things happened on day 1, day 2, and day 3, which would amuse you and will shock you. But we'll tell you about that another time. So that's something else that we're doing, and being very creative. Yeah. And we're always up to something. Yeah. Our boat's in good nick at the moment. Our water filtration is working nicely. We've got lots of logs. It's very cozy. And there is something magical about being on a boat in the middle of a canal in the middle of winter, and you light a fire. Nice. And especially if you've got a cat curled up beside you.
It is delightful.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I don't want to say stay positive because it sounds sort of trite
Glib.
at the moment. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I think get creative is a better piece of advice. You know, the world is changing, and we are built to adapt. We are incredible beings, aren't we? So let's adapt and think about each other and be of help and support wherever we can. And that is, I think, what will get everybody through an experience like this. Be of service, add something wonderful to the world. Think of others if you're feeling a little bit low, and stay creative. That's what I would say.
Connect and create.
Nice.
How about that? There, a little bit of alliteration there. So I think that's about it. Oh, what's the cat doing now?
Cat's rolling on the floor.
She's rolling around on the floor.
Getting
and,
covered in coal dust.
yeah,
basically.
chewing something to pieces. Anyway, so that's it for now. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.